Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to go ahead and go through the business credit ebook. But if you close your eyes. So in this ebook, it is jam-packed worth of information that you really need to review. I'm always adding to it and updating it. So make sure that you have gone through this ebook, downloaded it, and understand what is being processed here, because you have to understand the concept. You have to understand what's going to fit best for your situation. There is never going to be a one-size-fits-all situation when it comes to credit, business credit, or personal credit. It's a case-by-case basis. So if there are some vendors listed that you just don't have a need for, you don't need to use those credit vendors, right? But if you can find a need for these vendors, you can buy gear from them or office supplies, or you can apply for, some sort of account where you can buy things that you might need around the house. These are all things that you could potentially use, right? So only use the vendors that you would have a need for. But what you can do is literally buy everything that you buy in your household, from paper, toilet paper, paper towels, anything like that. You can buy from some of these business vendors and just get credit for your payments. So if you're spending $50 to $100 a month on paper supplies at, say, Walmart, that cash is just going down the drain essentially. But if you take that same money and, say, buy it with a commercial equipment place like Uline or even Quill, who has that type of supply, you can literally pay them and they will report that payment to the business credit bureaus. Boom, that's a whole trade line on your credit. If you buy from both of those places, that's two credit trade lines. So leverage your money to the best of your ability, even if you have to spend the same dollar multiple times. So you can literally pay your invoice with a credit card. So that's, again, you leveraging credit, and then you can get points and rewards on your business credit cards. So I just want to be able to leverage credit in the best way that's going to fit for you and, of course, your business and your lifestyle. So let's go ahead and get started. For the PDF version with you guys, and this is a book that I put together, and it really has a lot of information. So sometimes you might have to break it up into sections, right? Because it's a lot of information. This is like 167 pages worth of information. So you're definitely going to need to, break up the workload, make sure that you are in a quiet space where you can actually focus and understand what's going on here. So, and you can listen to this while you're driving. You can try to listen to this while you're multitasking, because I'm going to be reading it through with you guys and helping you understand what's going on here. Okay. So what we are basically saying is these are some similar programs that people pay for to help them build business credit instead of doing it themselves. Okay, I put together a link tree. You can check out my link tree. I've got business credit trade lines there, but I also have some in a list that I'll be sharing with you a little bit later on. But these other companies, Corporate Cash Credit, Fund and Grow, they're going to help you build business credit pretty much in the same fashion, because there's, only certain ways that you can really build business credit, and we go over all of them in this course. So you can either do it with a personal guarantee or without a personal guarantee. But without a personal guarantee, you are limited, okay? But they will help you, and they're going to charge you money, and they're also going to charge you a percentage of all the funding that they obtain for you. So you're going to be paying interest, plus you're going to be paying them a huge chunk. So it's just not really worth it. It's best for you to do it yourself. It does take longer. It is more work, but you can hire people to help you. You can hire virtual assistants to help you. You can hire people from Fiverr to help you apply for things. Once you get a Trello board set up to where you have all of your business information in there, you can create lists of accounts that you want someone to apply for you. and say, hey, go in here and apply for all of these business credit accounts, and you'll pay them $5 or $10 an hour or whatever the case is, because it's worth your time to be able to leverage their time in with all these applications, because it does take time, right? So that's something that you can consider down the road if you have the budget for it. But these are all options that are going to charge you a ton of money. They're going to build it for you. I offer to build my clients' business credit, but I charge them $5,000 because it is a lot of work, and it is a lot of, applications, and it's a process. So it does take time. And, if you're starting from nothing, it might take you 12 months. It might take you longer, but there is a way to get business credit fairly quickly, but it's going to be a lot of work on your part. Okay. So you can get business credit. You can get a paydex score in as little as 30 days, 60 days. It just depends on how many credit accounts that you open and how many credit accounts get reported to your business credit profile within that certain amount of time. So again, I'm always going to talk about your foundation, getting your foundation solid. And we even right here, it talks about being incorporated. I use InkFile, making sure you have your EIN, your address, your business address, okay, which should be a business office building. You can get those from Opus Office. Opus is in our list of recommended vendors, and InkFile is also in our list of recommended vendors to start your business, get your business address and your business telephone number from Opus for only $99 a month. So it's worth it. Business telephone number, you can get that with Opus. Business website, domain name, you can get with GoDaddy. You can use Wix for the website, or you can use any website builder for that matter. You just want to have an online presence. That's what they're looking at, is an online presence. I've worked with a lot of lenders who say, we want to see that your business has an online presence. And it's like, okay, well, we can so do that, right? So you just got to make sure that your business, it has an online presence, social media, a website, make sure it's listed online, Yelp, things of that nature, okay? So go over these things. We're not going to go into them all in detail, but again, a lot of the items that you're going to be doing initially to set yourself up are not going to require a PG. So you're going to incorporate your business, you're going to get your EIN, you're going to register with the state, and you can do all of this with InkFile. So you registering the state and getting your tax ID, you can do all of that with InkFile. They'll actually do it for you so you can stay in compliance. And I just start businesses with InkFile all the time, and they'll let you know when you need to file your annual report, so it keeps you in good standing, and you get a free registered agent address for 1 year. So that's good. Then you get, of course, your business website, email, Form 1 listing, DUNS number, and of course, you want to get business bank accounts. As soon as you open up your business and get your EIN and have your documents that you could take to the bank, you want to open up a business bank account. And a lot of business bank accounts can be opened up online, but you can start like with Bank of America. I opened up my business bank account online with them. Chase, same thing. There's Navy Federal, there's credit unions, there's local community banks that you might want to start a relationship with. So don't discount the small banks, because sometimes they have really good commercial credit products that would be good for you. Of course, you will have to have personal guarantee, meaning they'll pull your personal credit. But if you want good credit products under your business, it will require a personal guarantee. Not everything requires a personal guarantee, but most things with major banks will require a personal guarantee. Most net vendors, net 30 vendors, net 60 vendors, net 90 vendors, most of them do not require any sort of personal guarantee. So you can start building your business credit while you're working on your personal credit, and start with the vendor accounts and the accounts that are not going to be pulling your personal credit. Okay. You want 3 to 5. I recommend 5, at least 5 business credit trade lines from each tier. So start with like your tier 1, then move on to tier 2, then tier 3. And some vendors can be considered tier 1 or tier 2. Some vendors can be considered tier 2 or tier 3. So some of them kind of fall in the mid-grade area, but just use your best judgment. The goal is to get the most amount of trade lines reported to your business credit profile. The end goal is to have at least 15 business credit trade lines reported to each of the major business credit bureaus, being Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Okay, so Net30, you can get multiple business bank accounts that eventually will turn into credit, so that's good. Start building relationships with the business banking. We talked about trade lines, so you guys can go over this chart a little bit later. But again, personal credit really is the bridge and the key when it comes to unlocking business credit, because if you really want good business credit, you're going to have a decent personal credit score. Decent starts at, some places start lower, but I would say at least a 680. You want to have at least a 680, no recent collections, charge-offs, no recent late payments. You want to have a lower credit utilization. I wouldn't even have a 50%. 50% is way high. I would try to have less than a 15% if possible. The lower the better. And every time you're going to apply for funding, you need to understand the lowest utilization is recommended, and don't carry a balance on more than a few cards. So if you have only one credit card, then it better have a 0 balance. If you have 2 credit cards, only 1 credit card should have a balance. If you have 3 credit cards, only 1 card should have a balance. I have probably like 20 credit cards, so I have balances on like 3 or 4, and that's fine. But don't have balances on all of these different cards, because that could be a reason why you're being declined as well. You have balances on too many credit cards. So you want to just be mindful of that. You want to have at least 2 trade lines reported to your personal credit. I recommend at least 10, and I know that sounds like a lot, but you want to have a really strong personal credit profile. Most of your trade lines on your personal credit profile should be credit cards at a 0 balance. Okay. You can have a couple other installment loans, student loans, any other sort of credit builder accounts. Those are fine. You definitely want to have some secured loans with credit unions or banks to help you build that relationship. Like with the Navy Federal, they call it a pledge loan. You can do that with PenFed as well. And I always talk about these secured loans versus the secured credit cards. If you've got a large amount of cash, do a secured loan. It helps with your relationship, and it helps build credit without a hard inquiry to you. Okay. Speaking of inquiries, you only want, a few inquiries in the last 12 months, no more than 4. You want to have at least a 2-year history. And this is all on the personal side, guys. So again, personal credit history should be 2 years. If you need to increase your personal credit history, then you need to get some trade lines added to your credit. That's really the only way that you can increase your history, is by adding aged trade lines that have, real lengthy history, like 18, 20 years. That's really going to help you. But if you're just adding a trade line that has a couple years, 4 or 5 years, that's not really going to do much for you at all. You really need an aged trade line. Okay. No derogatories. Like I said, no derogatories in the last 24 months. So make sure that your data points are in check, your personal credit data points. If you need to look at your data points, you can download the MyFICO app. You can use Credit Karma and at least try to understand what's going on, but personal credit is going to be key. And if you need help with your personal credit, schedule a free call with me so I can talk to you about a game plan to get you on track for a better personal credit, because it is going to be required eventually to really leverage your business credit in the manner that you're going to want to leverage it. If you want those good business credit cards, you want American Express, you want Bank of America, you want Chase, you want all of these excellent credit products, they are going to require a PG. Yes, there are credit products out there that you can get, but of course the good ones require a PG. Okay, you can try to wiggle around it, but I don't know. These days, it's very hard to wiggle and maneuver around a PG, okay? So you definitely want to have some higher credit limits listed on your credit profile as well. So think about this. If your highest credit limit on your personal credit is only $500, why in the world would someone on the business side trust you with $100,000? You have to think about that. So you really want some higher limit trade lines listed on your personal credit profile, so that way you can get higher limits reported onto your business credit and get approved for higher limits on the business credit. Because again, we want to leverage our personal to build our fast track our business credit. Okay. Now that's pretty much it for the personal. You can kind of go over this. And if you do have any derogatories, or again, if you do need additional help with personal credit, feel free to reach out and we can talk about it. The business telephone number, there's a lot of different options here for the business telephone number. There's Call 8, and that's a toll-free number. It's only like $5 a month. Well, some of them are. If you want like a vanity number, which is like 1-800-NICOLE or something like that, you know, something cool, then of course it would be more. But don't feel like you have to have an 800 number. You certainly don't. You definitely do want to have a business telephone system where you can receive text messages. So Freedom Voice is pretty inexpensive, and I think they're as low as like $10 a month, and it comes with a text app and a business telephone number. So it's a great option for you to get your business telephone number with them if you did not get it with Opus and do the $99 business office address, virtual business office address, and business telephone number with Opus, which is $99. This is a great, alternative, because you can get lower priced office locations. There's iPostal One. You just have to make sure that it's actual business address, not a UPS store, not a Staples, not any sort of PO box. Your business address, and we'll go over this in just a minute, it really needs to be an office. You can Google it. It shows up as an office. It looks legit. It's not a PO box, so on and so forth. And same with the cell phone number, the business telephone number. You don't want it to be a cell phone. You don't want it to be like a mobile number. You want it to be an actual business telephone number with one of these places. And it's very important for you guys to really understand the foundational part of this first. You can use your home address as your address, but just know you're going to need to list your business online. So do you really want your personal address listed on the internet or listed on your website? Probably not. So that's why we use these virtual business addresses. Your physical address might be different than, your virtual business address. So you can use a virtual business address with iPostal One or with Opus. Opus has virtual office addresses throughout the United States in several different locations, and they will forward your mail, or you can go pick up your mail from their office location. So Trusta is another phone app that you can use, and they offer text and all that good stuff. So like we talked about iPostal One, you can get virtual mailing addresses. Again, just make sure that you verify it's a real office, not a PO box, not a UPS store, not a Staples store, not any sort of mailboxes, etc. Postal mailbox store, no mailbox stores. Okay, again, no mailbox stores. We want to make sure that it's an actual office. When they look it up, it's an office. Okay. You want to make sure that you're listed on 411. Once you have your foundation, your business name, your official business name, and if your official business name is like Credit Coach Pros LLC, that's how you want to list your business name across the entire internet. Credit Coach Pros, if there's a comma, put comma LLC. List it exactly how it is listed with the IRS and with the state. Exactly. Verbatim. Okay. If it's Inc. INC, put Inc. INC. Don't do any other variations. If there's no period, do not put a period. Okay. It needs to be exact everywhere. Okay. list it online. 4-in-1 listing, Google My Business. We talked about that before. So this is the tool to Google your business, list your business with Google Your Business. And what this does is basically once you register with them, they will send you a postal card in the mail, and you will have a code on that postal card that you'll just need to enter to verify you received it, and verify, of course, it's a real business location. So if you have a virtual office location, it will be mailed to that location. You just need to introduce yourself to the virtual office people, like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm a new business here. I just want to make sure that my mail forwarding is set up, because when you get a virtual mailing location, you will need to sign some documents. You will need to get a document notarized for them to receive mail, and then of course forward you the mail. So there's some documents that you will need to fill out for mail forwarding and things of that nature. So make sure that you are following all the instructions here. You're reading through, and I know as much as some of us, don't read, I really encourage you guys to read through this, print it out if you need to, listen to this video multiple times. If there's other videos that you need to listen to multiple times while you're driving or other things, just so you can start getting this information pounded into your head and say, okay, these are some of the action steps. Because sometimes people get so much information, they get overwhelmed with the amount of information that they get, and then nothing gets done. So in this cases, these are, separate action items that we need to accomplish, and then really work on taking action every day. Taking action every day. Be like Nike and just do it. Okay, just do it. All right, business address. I already kind of went over this, but let's kind of go back to this, because again, this is just so important, and I just want to really reiterate the importance of having your business address listed accurately everywhere, from the IRS to the state to the internet. If you are listing your business as 123 ABC Street, it needs to be, suite is going to be spelled out, or are you just going to put STE? You need to figure that out, because both ways are accurate, but you want to make sure that you're listing your business the same exact way every single place. Okay. Keep in mind, some lenders don't really lend to home-based businesses. It's more common now because of COVID and everything, but I would recommend getting a virtual business location. I've never really been questioned about my business location, so it's, one of those things. And plus, I don't want to have to list my home address on the internet. If you can't find a virtual office near you, or you can't afford one, the home address will suit fine, as long as you just, don't mind it being listed online. But plenty of people have used their home address, have been very happy using their home address. And again, it is more common now that COVID has happened. You can find cheaper business locations, maybe with local businesses, and just ask them if you can literally rent a mailbox from them. I did that with a printing company before. I just said, hey, do you mind if I just use your address as a virtual office? I just need to get my mail sent here, and then I can come pick it up. And they're like, sure. And I paid them like $50 a month, and I literally just paid them like one time for the year. So that worked out well, because that was a real office and not a lot of people were using it. So sometimes you do got to think outside of the box. If you have someone that owns a business, see if they'd be willing to rent you like a door where you can literally put a mailbox and just receive mail there, because more than one business can certainly be inside of a suite. People share offices all the time. It's shared office space. Okay. So just try to, see what you can do. You definitely want to, if you can afford, if you have the budget to get Opus, which is $99 a month, I recommend Opus, because it's going to give you your virtual business address, and it's also going to give you your business telephone number. And they do have an app where you can actually receive text messages as well, because a lot of people will text, and sometimes, we're not always able to answer the phone. So I always tell people, text me, and it works well. So with the virtual office, the benefits, you have a live receptionist that will answer your telephone. So when they do call your business telephone number during office hours, there is a live receptionist that will answer your telephone in your business name and then transfer the clients to your cell phone for you to answer. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You can even get a fax number, so you can get your company business telephone number and fax. You can get voicemails transcribed to email. You can get call forwarding. And you can, the cool thing about this is you can even rent space out at the virtual office as needed. So I have a virtual office in Oakland. And if I ever needed to rent like a meeting space for whatever reason, I could rent that space for them and meet clients there. And, you know, I've had a couple of clients that said that they wanted to meet me. And then of course that was like prior to the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, thank God Zoom became like more normalized, and this whole virtual meeting stuff became more normalized because it's just kind of a hassle. Like we can meet face to face like this on Zoom or other means of video. It works perfectly fine. So I would just, you know, encourage people to meet with you via Zoom or some sort of video. Zoom is obviously easiest and most popular. And then of course, if you need to meet clients at your office location, then you can rent out a space, but you will have to pay extra for the meeting room space. So here's some things to know. If your business shares an address with another business, do not use the same address. This is a red flag for a lot of places. So if you share an office with, like, say you find a printing company and they will allow you to rent a door from them to put a mailbox, then you need to put their address and then just put suite A or suite B or suite D for door or whatever it is. You just need to have a slight variation with the suite. And however you're going to spell suite, whether that be spelled out or STE. I list suite as STE all the time, so I don't have to spell it out. So make sure that however you choose to list it is consistent across everyone, from the IRS to the state to the internet. Okay. And I know that might sound like something like, oh, that's trivial. Like, who cares about that? No, it is serious. Like, you literally want to list things exactly. You want to be very, very much, you know, concerned with the attention to detail when it comes to this. And it might sound simple, but it's very important. Okay. So those are pretty much the options that we have here when it comes to Opus and with you guys. And we will talk about the most important parts of this ebook, because I want you guys to still go through it, but at least you can listen to this while you're driving and while you're going through this. So this is going to help you guys understand the concept behind everything and just kind of figure out what it is that you actually need to still do. So we just went over the addresses, making sure that your address is consistent and correct across the board. And then of course, if you need to change your address or you need to update your address, you're going to need to do that with the IRS and the state. So the IRS form 8822B, it actually takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to upload. If you want to get it done faster, you can actually call the IRS and inform them to update it over the phone. The wait might be long, but you're also request an EIN confirmation letter with your new address by email or by fax from them. So those are some tips on how to update the address. And of course, if you need to update your personal address, it's just the form 8822. That's the normal personal form for the IRS to update your personal information. But if you want to update your business address with the IRS, it's the 8822B-B as in business. Okay. And I will include that form in the course, so that way it is the PDF if you did need to print and mail it off, or again, if you wanted to call, it's really up to you, whatever you have time to do. You just want to ensure that your address is 100% listed correctly how it should be listed. If you're spelling sweet with STE, spell it like that. If you're spelling it out, great. Just make sure it's consistent. Business website. So the business website is something that's going to be very important because it's kind of be like your online real estate, and this is going to be how lenders verify that you are a legit business. So you really want to make sure that your business does not show that it's like high risk on your website. So some people actually make two websites, one to send their clients and one to send their lenders, because a lot of people might list their business as being a consultant or some sort of low risk business. Maybe they have multiple businesses that they operate under one business, multiple services that they provide, multiple things that they do, but they operate under one LLC or corporation, which of course, I am not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, I don't give advice, legal advice or anything like that, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if that were the case, you could potentially have a lot of different websites, and you could list, one website for, lending purposes, to be something low risk, maybe a business consultant, something of that nature. You can go to name check. You can just click on all of these links. All of these links are interactive too, so you can actually click on them and it'll take you exactly where you need to go. You want to make sure that before you select your business website or your business name, that you want to make sure that you can get a website or something that is similar. Of course, you can make different variations to the website to kind of make it your own. Like if your name is not available, you can try like NicoleScottLLC.com or something. I prefer the .coms over .net, .info, even .fit. I have a .fit email, but it's .com is preferred because that's what most people are familiar with, and you want to keep your domain name short and sweet, something that they can remember. You don't want to have Nicole Scott Enterprises Consultants.com. No, that's too long. You want to make sure that your domain is something short, something easy, something that people know how to spell, something that even if it's not your exact name of your business, that's okay. Like if I sell t-shirts, for example, maybe I'll have a website that says t-shirts for sale, or something that's an attention grabber. It doesn't necessarily have to be my exact business name, but it's just your domain name. A domain name can be, t-shirtsforsale.com or something, anything. You can use a domain name for a landing page, a sales page, website. I would recommend it, for funding purposes, just get something like, if your business name is like TJ Enterprises, you can just do tjent.com, right? Something simple, short, that they don't have to spell out, and that could be your email address as well, support@tjent.com. Something short, sweet, simple, okay? You can search the DNB company search. You can use name checker or name check to search your names. That's also going to search real estate for like social media accounts, because you really want to have the same social media handle across the board. And sometimes it's hard because things change and they're not available. So just try to find a variation that works for you, that you can stay pretty consistent. So if someone does search for you, your name will pop up. It might not be exactly the tag name, but it will pop up, right? I purchase all my domain names through GoDaddy, and if you did want email through GoDaddy, it's only like $1.99 a month, and if you needed like Microsoft Word or Excel, it's like $8.99 a month. So that's a pretty good deal, but the $1.99, you just really need the basic. You can also use Zoho, which is a mail program. I believe you can still get email from them for free, but with GoDaddy, it's like all in the same place, and it's easy to integrate it with like your phone and your computer, and they have really good customer support. GoDaddy also has a website builder that's fairly easy to use if you feel like Wix is just way too much for you. So they have a website builder that's easy, and there's some templates there. You can get help for website design from Fiverr or Freelancer. I have the link for Fiverr here, and Oh, Zoho Mail's like $1 now or something, so it's like cheap. But I'm just reading through this stuff, make sure I don't forget anything with you guys. HostGator, you can use them as well. They have cheap hosting and domain names, but just check and see what would be best for you. Check them all out. You know, check GoDaddy, HostGator. I prefer GoDaddy just because they're easy to deal with, and I pretty much just have all my stuff hosted with them. But again, don't spend too much time on this kind of stuff, because all this stuff can really take you like 2 hours to complete. Opus business, you could do Opus for the address, you use Opus for the phone number, you can use InkFile to register your business, you can use all these other places to get your domain name, your email, GoDaddy for domain name, GoDaddy for email. So just keep it simple. Make sure that you are documenting who you're buying this stuff with. So have a list. I use Trello, or you can just use like a spreadsheet, but document, or like a notepad, but I keep it online so I can access it anywhere, laptop, phone, anywhere. I use Trello. Put everything in like a Trello board, and that's kind of like an organizational board or a spreadsheet, and list out where you got your business telephone number, who it's with, what the username is, what the password is, because you're going to be creating so many different accounts. You're not going to be able to keep up with all the username and passwords. Okay. So just make sure that you document them all in like a Trello board or somewhere that you can document your process, because if you want to do this process again for another business, which I highly recommend, you'll easily know this is process. This is the process. This is boom, boom, boom. Step 1, step 2, step 3, right? And again, step 1 is the foundation, the business registration, the business address, the business telephone number, the business website, the business email address, the business registered online correctly everywhere, right? On the internet, on Google, on Yelp, you know, all of these different platforms that are going to help bring more exposure, saying, hey, this is a real business. They're listed online as a real business. Okay. We talked about getting incorporated. I recommend InkFile. You can choose C Corp, S Corp, LLC, or nonprofit. It's really up to you based on, you know, what you feel is going to be best for you. If you are starting something that is a nonprofit that's for the better of the world, to make your world and in your space better for people, hey, start a nonprofit. A lot of people, a lot of companies out there are nonprofit corporations that we wouldn't even think, like insurance companies. Some of those are nonprofit corporations, which is like crazy, but there's a lot of companies out there that you wouldn't think are necessarily a nonprofit. Just go online and Google some nonprofit organizations and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But do what's best for you, C Corp, S Corp, or LLC. Later on in the video, or in this course, we're actually going to be talking about the differences in how you should pick between the different corporations. And of course, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, I don't give tax advice. This is just based on experience. And of course, you're going to be the one that needs to make the ultimate decision on what is going to be best for you and your business. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure that we get all of those steps done. Then once we have everything registered, the first thing that we need to do is open up business banking accounts. We do not want to have our personal accounts being used for business purposes. Okay, that's probably the biggest mistake that I see a lot of business owners do, is using personal banking accounts for business use, and depositing all of their transactions into their personal account. Let's talk about InkFile. InkFile is right here. So the button is right here for you guys to go ahead and file with them. I really like InkFile. And in the course, you'll probably see me using InkFile to start a business because it is one of my favorite. I have several businesses listed with them, and I start a couple businesses every few years and just kind of let them age, because if you think about it, a lot of people out there who buy aged corporations are literally just buying a corporation that was started a few years back and put on ice. They just make sure that the corporation stays in good standing. So that's another thing that people can potentially, like yourself, do. Once you understand how to register a business with the state and the IRS and keep it in good standing in a very easy process, you can literally sell shelf corporations to people for thousands of dollars. I'm not saying that, you know, it's something that I do, because it's not, but I know a lot of people that do offer shelf corporations. So that's just another way that you can start leveraging this whole process and all of the information that you guys are learning. So you got to be creative. You got to think outside of the box, right? That's what they're doing. So ink file is great. And then of course you want to register your business once you have your business telephone number and your business address. Get your business telephone number and get your business address first, and then register with the state and the IRS, because you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up properly from the beginning. You don't necessarily need your business domain or your business email or your business website when you register with the state or with the IRS, because that is not going to be public. You can wait on that, because it will take the state and the IRS some time to process your business application. So while they're processing it, you can work on getting your domain, your business email, and your business website. Okay. Make sure to not claim yourself as a high-risk business. And a high-risk business is going to be the difference of you getting approved or denied in some cases. So make sure that you're choosing an entity name and an 𝓖𝐶 code that is kind of like neutral. It's not risky. And an 𝓖𝐶 code, if you have it as a high risk, you could get denied for business credit. So you definitely want to make sure that all of your codes with Dun & Bradstreet and the other business credit bureaus are listed as accurate, because sometimes they'll get information that is not correct. Choosing a wrong code can mean a funding denial. A loan or a business credit card can be denied based on classification. Some 𝓖𝐶 codes can trigger automatic turndowns, higher premiums, and reducing credit limits for a business. So the business owner chooses the 𝓖𝐶 code and must be honest about the classification. But if more than one 𝓖𝐶 code could be applied, there's nothing wrong with choosing an 𝓖𝐶 code, which will not get an automatic denial. Okay. And real estate investing can be business management or property management. What I use for my neutral business is business management and consulting companies. That's exactly correct, because I'm a business manager and I manage multiple businesses. The 𝓖𝐶 code and the NAICS code are very similar, and you'll notice that I have included the location for you to go to the NAICS website for you to search what your NAICS code would be. And the NAICS code and the 𝓖𝐶 code, you can just do a simple Google search to find out what codes would be best suitable for your business, because every business is different. This is just how you're categorizing your business. So lenders and the government and the business entities will see you as, oh, okay, so they're a retail business, or they're an e-commerce business, or they are a business consultant. You know, these things are really important. So the universal code that I use is 541611, which is the administration management and general management consulting services, because I do a lot of coaching and consulting and a lot of different things in that general umbrella, right? Now, examples of this are administration management consulting services, site selection consulting services, financial management except investing advice consulting services, strategic planning consulting services, and general management consulting services. So I'm giving you guys general information on how you guys can improve your business by leveraging your business credit, making sure that your foundational business is set up properly, so that way you're set up for success, right? Now, here are some automatic denials: ammunition and weapons, bail bonds, check cashing, energy, oil, gas, finance, Federal Reserve banks, foreign banks, bank holding companies, loan brokers, security brokers, mortgage bankers, mortgage companies, bail bond companies, or mutual fund managers. gambling, gaming, loans for purchases of risky goods, which obviously risky goods can be anything from, ammunition to adult entertainment. So you just have to understand what would be risky based on these things. Pawn shops, political campaigns, public administration, city, county, state, and federal government agencies, X-rated products, or entertainment. Now, here are high risk, strict approvals: agriculture or forest products, auto, recreational vehicles or boat sales, courier services, computer and software related services, dry cleaners, entertainment. Adult entertainment is to be considered restricted. General contractors, gasoline stations or convenience stores, healthcare, specifically nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and continuing care retirement centers, special trade contractors, hotels or motels, jewelry, precious stones and metals, wholesale and retail, limousine services, long distance or over-the-road trucking, mobile or manufactured home sales, phone sales and direct selling establishments, real estate brokers and agents, real estate developers or land subdividers, restaurants or drinking establishments, software or programming companies, taxi cabs, and travel agencies. Whew, that's a lot, right? So you want to stay away from high risk. If you are in trucking, you can say that you're in some sort of administration or dispatching or something other, maybe consulting, right? Anything consulting is going to be something low risk. Now, I'm not saying to lie about it, but sometimes you will have to list yourself as high risk. And that's just the way it is. That's the nature of the business. It doesn't mean that you're going to get declined from everybody, but it just means that there might be some places that are not going to extend credit for you. But that's not the end of the world, because there's literally thousands and millions of people out there. Okay. Now, the EIN number. The EIN number is also going to be known as your employer identification number. That is considered your EIN number, your tax ID number. That's all the same number, okay? And that's going to be on a letter provided to you from the IRS. If you sign up for InkFile, they'll keep everything all in one simple location under your account with InkFile, so everything is super organized. If you decide to file all the paperwork yourself, you can still do that. It is free to file your EIN with the IRS, and I've included the website for you to go ahead and obtain your EIN from the IRS. Now, the IRS will mail you a letter saying what your employer tax identification number is. You need to keep that letter, make copies of that letter, scan that letter, put it onto your computer, because every time you open up a business bank account, you're going to need that letter. Most of the time when you open up a business bank account, you're going to need the letter from the IRS. You're going to need the articles of incorporation. You might need a certificate of good standing. It just depends. The bank will let you know if there's any additional information that you're going to need. Of course, you're going to need your photo ID and things of that nature. So they'll let you know. And typically it's just a tax ID letter and the articles and possibly a certificate of good standing. Funding accelerator tool. So this is the tool that I was telling you about, and you can click on it right here. This is just a spreadsheet that I put together in Google. It's on the Google Drive, and it is like a spreadsheet to help you keep organized. You can use something like this, or you can use like a Trello board if you're familiar on how to use Trello. I recommend, of course, documenting everything, whether it's in this sheet or on a Trello board, because you want to make sure that you stay super organized. There's still going to be so many different accounts, so many different things going on, so many, things that you're listed with. You really want to document the process and make sure that you have, how you did it, what your login is, what website you went to, so on and so forth, right?